Vancouver is a major city in Western Canada, located in the Lower Mainland region of British Columbia. As the most populous city in the province, the 2016 census recorded 631,486 people in the city, up from 603,502 in 2011. The Greater Vancouver area had a population of 2.5 million in 2016, making it the third largest metropolitan area in Canada. Vancouver has the highest population density in Canada, with over 5,400 people per square kilometre, which makes it the fifth most densely populated city with over 250,000 residents in North America. Behind New York City, Guadalajara, San Francisco, and Mexico City, Vancouver is one of the most ethnically and linguistically diverse cities in Canada. 52% of its residents are not native English speakers, 48.9% are native speakers of neither English nor French, and 50.6% of residents belong to visible minority groups. Vancouver is consistently named as one of the top 5 worldwide cities for livability and quality of life, and the Economist Intelligence Unit acknowledged it as the first city ranked among the top 10 of the world's most well-living cities for 10 consecutive years. However, Vancouver also ranks as the most expensive city to live in Canada, and as the 4th most expensive housing market globally. In 2011, the city planned to become the greenest city in the world by 2020. Vancouverism is the city's urban planning design philosophy. Vancouver was originally named Gastown and began as a settlement which grew around the site of a makeshift tavern on the western edges of Hastings Mill that was built on July 1, 1867, and owned by proprietor Gassy Jack. The original site is marked by the Gastown steam clock. Gastown then formally registered as a town site dubbed Granville, Burrard Inlet. The city was renamed Vancouver in 1886 through a deal with the Canadian Pacific Railway. The Canadian Pacific Transcontinental Railway was extended to the city by 1887. The city's large natural seaport on the Pacific Ocean became a vital link in the trade between Asia-Pacific, East Asia, Europe, and Eastern Canada. Vancouver has hosted many international conferences and events, including the 1954 Commonwealth Games, UN Habitat 1, Expo 86, APEC Canada 1997, the World Police and Fire Games in 1989 and 2009, several matches of 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup including the finals at BC Place in downtown Vancouver, and the 2010 Winter Olympics and Paralympics which were held in Vancouver and Whistler, a resort community 125 kilometers north of the city. In 1969, Greenpeace was founded in Vancouver. The city became the permanent home to TED conferences in 2014. As of 2016, Port Metro Vancouver is the 4th largest port by tonnage in the Americas, the busiest and largest in Canada, and the most diversified port in North America. While forestry remains its largest industry, Vancouver is well known as an urban center surrounded by nature, making tourism its 2nd largest industry. Major film production studios in Vancouver and nearby Burnaby have turned Greater Vancouver and nearby areas into one of the largest film production centers in North America, earning it the nickname Hollywood North. With its location on the Pacific Rim and at the western terminus of Canada's Transcontinental Highway and rail routes, Vancouver is one of the nation's largest industrial centers. Port Metro Vancouver, Canada's largest and most diversified port, does more than 172 billion Canadian dollars in trade with over 160 different trading economies annually. Port activities generate $9.7 billion in gross domestic product and $20.3 billion in economic output. Vancouver is also the headquarters of forest product and mining companies. In recent years, Vancouver has become a center for software development, biotechnology, aerospace, video game development, animation studios, and television production and film industry. Vancouver hosts approximately 65 movies and 55 TV series annually and is the 3rd largest film and TV production center in North America, supporting 20,000 jobs. San Francisco, officially the City and County of San Francisco, is a cultural, commercial, and financial center of Northern California. San Francisco is the 16th most populous city in the United States and the 4th most populous in California, with 881,549 residents as of 2019. It covers an area of about 46.89 square miles, mostly at the north end of the San Francisco Peninsula in the San Francisco Bay Area, making it the second most densely populated large U.S. city and the 5th most densely populated U.S. county. Behind only 4 of the 5 New York City boroughs, San Francisco is part of the 12th largest metropolitan statistical area in the United States by population, with 4.7 million people, and the 4th largest by economic output, with GDP of $592 billion in 2019. With San Jose, it forms the 5th most populous combined statistical area in the United States, with 9.67 million residents as of 2019. Colloquial nicknames for San Francisco include the City, SF, Frisco, and San Fran. As of 2020, San Francisco has the highest salaries, disposable income, and median home prices in the world at $1.7 million, as well as the highest median rents. In 2019, San Francisco was the 7th highest income county in the United States, with a per capita personal income of $139,405. In the same year, San Francisco proper had a GDP of $203.5 billion and a GDP per capita of $230,829. The CS San Francisco shares, with San Jose and Oakland, was the country's 3rd largest urban economy as of 2019, with a GDP of $1.09 trillion. Of the 105 primary statistical areas in the U.S. with over 0.5 million residents, this CS had the highest GDP per capita in 2019. At $112,348, San Francisco was ranked 8th in the world and 2nd in the United States on the Global Financial Centers Index as of September 2020. San Francisco was founded on June 29, 1776, when colonists from Spain established the Presidio of San Francisco at the Golden Gate and Mission San Francisco de Asis a few miles away, both named for Francis of Assisi. The California gold rush of 1849 brought rapid growth, making it the largest city on the West Coast at the time. San Francisco became a consolidated city-county in 1856. San Francisco's status as the West Coast's largest city peaked between 1870 and 1900, when around 25% of California's population resided in the city proper. After 3/4 of the city was destroyed by the 1906 earthquake and fire, San Francisco was quickly rebuilt, hosting the Panama Pacific International Exposition 9 years later. In World War II, San Francisco was a major port of embarkation for service members shipping out to the Pacific Theater. It then became the birthplace of the United Nations in 1945. After the war, the confluence of returning servicemen, significant immigration, liberalizing attitudes, along with the rise of the hippie counterculture, the sexual revolution, the peace movement growing from opposition to United States involvement in the Vietnam War, and other factors led to the Summer of Love and the gay rights movement, cementing San Francisco as a center of liberal activism in the United States. Politically, the city votes strongly along liberal Democratic Party lines. A popular tourist destination, San Francisco is known for its cool summers, fog, steep rolling hills, eclectic mix of architecture, and landmarks, including the Golden Gate Bridge, cable cars, the former Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, Fisherman's Wharf, and its Chinatown district. San Francisco is also the headquarters of 5 major banking institutions and various other companies such as Levi Strauss & Co. Gap Incorporated, Fitbit, Salesforce.com, Dropbox, Reddit, Square Incorporated, Dolby Airbnb, Pacific Gas and Electric Company, Yelp, Pinterest, Twitter, Uber, Lyft, Mozilla, Wikimedia Foundation, and Craigslist. The city and the surrounding Bay Area is a global center of the sciences and arts and is home to a number of educational and cultural institutions, such as the University of California, San Francisco, University of San Francisco, San Francisco State University, the De Young Museum, the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, the SFJ Azizi Center, and the California Academy of Sciences.